You've cut carbs, you've tried intermittent fasting, you're doubling down on cardio, you've cranked out crunches like your life depends on it, and yet your belly fat is still there. Frustrating, right? I know exactly how that feels. When I first started trying to lose fat, I did everything I thought was right, but nothing seemed to work. I ran until my knees ached. I starved myself, thinking that eating less was the answer. I did hundreds of crunches, convinced they'd melt my belly fat away. The truth? Most people fail to lose belly fat because they're focusing on the wrong things, and I was one of them. But after losing over 80 pounds and keeping it off for over 16 years, I've learned what actually works. Today I'm breaking down 4 science-backed steps that will help you lose belly fat. No gimmicks, no BS, just real strategies that get results. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels, stick with me. My name is Adam. I'm a certified performance nutritionist and online coach. Over the last decade, I've helped hundreds of men and women lose fat, build muscle with sustainable workout and nutrition plans. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, I appreciate you. Let's dive in. When I started my fat loss journey, I was convinced my belly would be the first thing to go. I mean, that's how it should work, right? So I did hundreds of crunches, planked until my body was shaking, and even committed to 8-minute abs every single day. I was sure that if I just worked my abs hard enough, my belly fat would melt away. You can probably guess how that turned out. In fact, my abs were probably under there thinking, why is he working so hard if we're never going to see daylight? This belief that you can target fat in a specific area by training it is called spot reduction. And just like my months of daily crunches, it doesn't work to any noticeable degree. My experience matched what the research says. You can't pick and choose where your body loses fat. Fat loss doesn't work like a savings account where you decide which funds to withdraw first. Your body burns fat as a whole, not in isolated pockets. So if you've been crunching your way to nowhere, it's not your fault. You were just following bad advice. Okay, but why is belly fat so damn difficult to lose? Turns out belly fat is highly metabolically active, meaning it's not just sitting there. It's constantly releasing hormones and chemicals that can actually influence your metabolism, making it harder for you to burn the fat there compared to other areas. And if that wasn't frustrating enough, you've got genetics, stress hormones like cortisol, and age, which all play a role in how your body stores and holds onto fat. So those crunches, they're great for strengthening your core, but they won't do much for stripping the fat on top. It's like mopping the floor while the roof is leaking. You're working hard, but you're not fixing the actual problem. The truth, losing belly fat starts with a calorie deficit. No gimmicks, no shortcuts, just consistently burning more calories than you consume over time. It's not flashy, but it works. I'll show you exactly how to make a calorie deficit work for you without starving yourself or spending hours on a treadmill. Stick with me because this is where it starts to all click. When I first tried to lose fat, I went all in. And by all in, I meant all out crazy. I cut out entire food groups, banned carbs like they had personally wronged me, and I lived off grilled chicken and broccoli. Now I know some people love chicken and broccoli, but when you're eating it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it was less of a meal and more of a mild form of suffering. And you can probably guess how long that lasted. Along my journey, I learned one of the most valuable lessons from a nutrition expert, Alan Aragon. The best diet isn't the most hardcore one. It's the one you can actually stick to. If you hate what you're eating, your diet has an expiration date. So how do you set yourself up for success? Track your current calories. Use a food app like MyFitnessPal or anything that helps you see what you're actually eating. Set a realistic calorie target. Use a free calorie calculator. I've linked one in the description below. Find your total daily energy expenditure, basically how many calories you burn a day. Then take that number, multiply it by 0.8 to create a 20% calorie deficit. Then you want to adjust as needed. A good starting point is to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. If you have more weight to lose, you might drop 2 to 3 pounds a week for the first month. That's normal. The key, track progress, stay consistent, and adjust as needed. Alan also has a pretty game-changing tip. Instead of following a complicated meal plan, just build your diet around 20 of your favorite foods. Here's how that works. High protein options, chicken breasts, lean beef, eggs, or tofu if you're a vegan, healthy fats like olives, avocado, and even nuts, fibrous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, courgette, zucchini for my US friends, and starches like potatoes, rice, and whole grains, dairy and fruit, so Greek yogurt, berries, apples, oranges, whatever you actually enjoy. Now, I'm a big believer in variety, but if you're just starting out, keeping it simple is going to go a long way. It's going to remove the decision fatigue. And yes, leave room for your favorite indulgences. For me, it's a burger, cookies, or pastries around 10 to 20% of the time. Now, the one thing you can't afford to skimp on, that's protein. Here's why it's a non-negotiable when it comes to fat loss. It helps keep you full so you're not constantly fighting hunger and just feeling like you're craving everything. It also helps preserve muscles so you don't become a smaller, softer version of yourself. And it just slightly boosts metabolism because your body actually burns more calories digesting protein than it does fats or carbs. Aim for 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight. That's enough to maximize fat loss while preserving muscle so you look lean, strong, and defined, not just thin. Back in the day, I thought cardio was the holy grail for fat loss. I'd run for miles, convinced that if I just logged enough time on that treadmill, my belly fat would surrender and just leave. But you know what actually happened? My knees hated me, my shins tapped out, and I was hungrier than a bear coming out of hibernation. It didn't work. Not only did I feel drained, but I wasn't getting the lean, defined look that I actually wanted. And that's because I was missing a critical piece of the fat loss puzzle: strength training. Progressive strength training is the only thing that helps you at least keep your muscle when you're in a calorie deficit. Losing muscle doesn't just hurt your progress, it leaves you looking skinny fat. And trust me, after putting in all the effort, the last thing you want is to look in the mirror and wonder where all that work went. You may have heard this before, but building or maintaining muscle while losing fat also keeps your metabolism slightly elevated, meaning you'll burn more calories at rest and you'll burn more calories during your workouts compared to just dieting without strength training. You likely won't have to slash your calories to miserable levels just to get rid of that belly fat. So it's a win-win. Now, does this mean cardio is useless? No, but it's not necessary for fat loss. Fat loss comes from creating a calorie deficit, not from hours of sweating on a treadmill. That said, cardio can actually help, especially when your daily movement known as NEAT starts to drop as a natural byproduct of getting leaner. And if you've been here a while, you know I'm a huge fan of walking. If you can get in anywhere between 8 to 12,000 steps a day, do it. Simple tweaks like taking the stairs, parking further away, or pacing while on a call can add up without leaving you feeling exhausted like high intensity cardio does. If walking isn't realistic for you, you can throw in some steady state cardio sessions in instead. Just 30 to 45 minutes a week is a solid starting point. And personally, I'm a big fan of the elliptical, the rower, and the bike because they are low impact and joint friendly. The goal, to use cardio as a tool, not as punishment. Before I get into the last two underrated steps, if you're enjoying this video, hit that like button and subscribe for future videos. That really helps this channel be seen by more people like you. All right, let's keep going. For the longest time, I thought fat loss was all about diet and exercise. Calories in, calories out, train hard, eat right. What I didn't realize is sleep was quietly working against me in the background. When I wasn't sleeping enough, my workouts felt sluggish. My cravings were through the roof, and even though I was doing everything right, progress felt like I was moving in quicksand. Then I started prioritizing sleep and everything changed. My workouts felt better. My hunger was actually manageable. I saw faster results without changing anything else. It was like giving my body permission to stop fighting against me. Here's what most people don't realize. Not getting enough sleep actually makes it harder to lose belly fat. Even if your diet is locked in, bad sleep alone can actually sabotage your progress. And if you're in a calorie deficit, it gets even worse. worse. Have you ever tried driving with barely any gas? If you're like me, you've probably tried driving with barely any petrol. You still move forward, but the ride is rough and eventually you're gonna stall out. That's what trying to lose fat on low sleep feels like. Your body doesn't recover properly, your energy tanks, and worst of all, your hunger hormones go haywire. Lack of sleep makes you significantly hungrier. And when your willpower is low and your cravings are high, it's a recipe for a late night binge. I'll be honest, I don't always get a perfect 7 to 8 hours sleep a night, but I do try. And here's what I found. If I want 7 hours of sleep, I need to be in bed, lights off for at least 7.5 hours or 7.5 hours. Your body needs time to wind down. You can't just go straight from staring at a screen into a deep sleep in 30 seconds. It doesn't work like that. So if you struggle with sleep, here's what helps. Give yourself extra time in bed, like aim for maybe 30 to 60 minutes more than your actual sleep goal. Cut screen time an hour before bed. Blue light messes with melatonin, making it harder to actually fall asleep. Keep your room cool and dark. Your body sleeps best in a slightly cooler environment. Stick to a routine. Try going to bed and waking up the same time each day. Prioritizing sleep might not seem as exciting as a new workout program or diet hack, but trust me, it will make everything else easier. If you're ready to lose fat but don't know where to start, I've got you. I put together a free 30-day email course that shows you exactly how to lose 8 pounds in 30 days without extreme diets or endless cardio. It's 100% free. Just hit the link in the description to sign up and let's get started. I still remember the frustration. I was weeks into my fat loss journey, doing everything right, dialing in my training hard, staying on track, and yet my belly fat still there. I thought, what's the point? But then I took a step back. My clothes were fitting better. My face looked leaner. I was getting stronger in the gym each week. It hit me. Progress was happening. I just wasn't paying attention to it. This is what not many people will tell you. Belly fat is often the last thing to go. For most people, it's the body's stubborn fat reserve, meaning you'll lose fat other areas before you start seeing real changes in your midsection. So if anyone tries to sell you on a lose belly fat in 7 days video, they're usually full of it and just trying to get you to click. Just because it's taking time doesn't mean you're failing. It just means you need to stay consistent. And that's where most people go wrong. They focus so much on what hasn't changed. They forget to acknowledge what has. I want you to start paying attention to the small wins. Your clothes fitting better, your energy levels improving, your PRs in the gym, your confidence increasing. If you don't celebrate these small wins, you'll feel like you're failing, even when you're not. This is the long game. Your belly fat didn't show up overnight, so it won't disappear overnight either. Stay the course, pivot when necessary, and trust the process. If you enjoyed this video and it gave you clarity, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What's been your biggest struggle when it comes to belly fat? And if you're ready to take things to the next level, I work one-to-one with clients to help them lose fat, build muscle, and create a sustainable plan that actually fits their life. If you're serious about results and want personalized coaching, fill out the application in the description and let's get started. As always, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Have the best day ever, and I'll see you in the next one.